Hello everybody, welcome back to the Redmen TV and your player ranking show. After Liverpool were beaten by Fulham 3-2, deservedly so, no complaints from no excuses from my end necessarily. Liverpool, self-destruct mode at the back really, far too many individual performances, far too many off days as well. It all started so promisingly with Alexis Mac Allister absolutely thunderbastarded one home for about 30 yards, but it never really got better than that. We rallied a bit late on, the subs made little impact. Diaz got us seemingly back into the game momentarily, but it never really came to anything in truth. So this is the part of the day where I pick up a player's face and you tell me where they should be from boss sound to your messing. Now, every time we do this, you've got to tell me where they go, but also sort of how high they go, or if they should straddle. Yeah, it's the whole thing. You'll pick it up as we go along. If it's your first time. If it's not your first rodeo, you know what to do at this point. Craven Cottage. We can have a chat about the performance as well. We don't just have to whack them in there. Yeah, let's do this, shall we? Craven Cottage. What do we make of Kiev today? I feel like I say this every time he plays recently, but fingers crossed Alisson Becker finally recovers from that seemingly non-concussion that he had. We were definitely sold a dream when he went onto Instagram like a day after returning home and said, "I'm fine, nobody panic." And we haven't seen him since. Didn't see him in midweek, and then not today. Surely he's back for West Ham. But yeah, could be Keller's last game for Liverpool. What did we make of it? We're not that impressed, I think it's fair to say, taking a quick glance at the comments here. Yeah, listen, I often, when speaking about Keller, I think he's been exceptional for Liverpool. Let's say that first. This wasn't one of those performances, by the way. It wasn't quite as bad as he was it last game of last season or 2 seasons ago? 2 seasons ago. Southampton away, when he was truly dreadful, and he was a hologram. And I don't like saying that about keepers. It's massively disrespectful, but it was true on the day. But today, he just, yeah, poor. It made a decent save late on to keep it a 3-2. It looked like we were chasing the game, and who knows what might have happened. A decent save down low from Harrison Reed. It was on the edge of the box. But, yeah, not good. Not good at all. Third goal in particular, really shouldn't be beaten like that. We're saying a low sound. I think most people have said low sound. Let's have a quick look. Oh, that's a shame. Low sound, yeah, okay, made a big save. Thought, yeah, all right. Couldn't do anything about the. I think he should do better for the third, personally. Low sound, I think, is the general consensus there. But I'll be honest, I'm just going to hover him. Like that. Liverpool's keeper can't let 3 in and be above your messing. Oh, see, there you go. That's a viewpoint. Low sound, but where was his defence? Saved the 4 goal. Second goal was also saved. Yeah, possibly. Takes a decent deflection, doesn't it? Anyway, let's move on. Curtis Jones in at right back again. I've seen a lot of critique and a lot of criticism around Curtis Jones' performance, and understandably, I think the first goal literally just hits his knee and falls into the path of Sessegnon, who reacts fastest, which is unforgivable in my mind. But yeah, I'm not sure how much he could do or knew about that, but it doesn't look good ultimately. And a lot of people basically bemoaning the lack of a natural right back and ironically crying out for Trent now. But it's not just Trent that we missed, it was Conor Bradley that we missed today, and I felt like when he came on we saw why, really. We just miss a natural right back, don't we? And we've got 3 of the fuckers injured. Conor Bradley, the exception, now he's kind of back. But yeah, low sound. And he was so good in midweek as well. He moved into midfield late on, so I guess we could judge him on both parts of the game, really. Nick Dyke says sound. Remember he was playing out of position. Yeah, okay. We're giving him some leeway for the right back stuff today, are we? I think that's fair. Honestly, I think it's fair. I was a little bit surprised he went with it again, I must admit. And it never really reared its ugly head in the way I thought it might, in terms of there wasn't loads coming down that side. I thought it was going to be a bit of a bombardment, and it would all be, possibly Sessegnon out there, Iwobi, Anthony Robertson, of course, and Fulham would just predominantly, almost exclusively attack him. It never really materialised that way. So yeah, interesting. Curtis was sound all day, low sound. Okay, second half was sound. All right. I think Curtis Jones just about escapes, which is okay. Let's do Ibou Konaté, shall we? Let's do Ibou Konaté. Taking off, second half. Poor in midweek for me, poor today rather for me. It gets away with one massively. We're going to speak about individual errors costing us in a moment. He arguably made the worst. Now, you can have a proper toss-up between all three of them if you want, but I think his might be the worst, and it didn't cost us. What he's trying to do in that instance, spin his way out of trouble. I don't know who he thinks he is, but he ain't Franz Beckenbauer. That was nuts. Absolutely nuts. I don't know what he was thinking at all. He ain't that guy. I love Ibu. I've loved Ibu for a long time, but he ain't that guy. Very poor. You're messing. Yeah, and again, I said it a minute ago, I think the fact he was taken off at half-time on French duty, never seen again in the second game, not at it in midweek against Everton, and looked a bit rattled by Beto. And then today, below par again, I can't help but feel something's not right with Ibu. Whether it be a bit of fatigue, fitness related, I'm not sure. But yeah, something's not right. Too clumsy, he's absolutely spot on. Straight in your messing. Okay, all right, I'm just feeling at this point, aren't I? Ibu, you're messing. Fucking, I don't disagree. And people will know I try and be as fair and balanced as possible on these shows. But I can't disagree with that at all, unfortunately. I thought he was terrible. Virgil van Dijk. I don't think we're going to be having a too dissimilar conversation, in truth, because, yeah, and again, if you're just joining, I said it a minute ago, the goal that he's at fault for, we can literally pad them out like that. That was him, that was him, that was him. It's just weak. There's no other way of describing it. And for somebody 6'4" odd, and fucking huge, and prides himself on being the fastest, the strongest, the best, got to be better. Like, expect that a striker is allowed to touch it. Now, people will bemoan the fact that Cody Gakpo gives away a free kick at the other end minutes later, and I tend to agree, but there's nothing in either of them. He just has to be better, has to be stronger. It's too easy. It's fucking far too easy. It's great from Muniz, by the way. The touch is excellent, and the finish is the finish. But Virgil, I'm sorry, has to be so much stronger there. Looks like his contract, yeah, Arne Slot should go into your messing. Yeah, well, we'll deal with Arne Slot later. That's all to come. Messing too. That is kind of my point on it, really. It feels like he feels as though he has a God-given right not to be touched sometimes. You know what I mean? He looks at people and says, how dare you? And listen, he's earned that 99%. You know what I mean? But there is still that element of, like, some strikers will just have a go. Like, they won't care. They won't be fazed by the fact that you're Virgil van Dijk and you're captain of Liverpool and you've got this aura, and a well-earned aura, by the way, of being the best centre-half in world football, because he is. He absolutely is. But that doesn't mean that somebody's not going to just have a go. And Muniz did, and we got punished for it. He has to be ready and prepared to fucking fight sometimes. And he wasn't. Certainly not in that instance. Okay, you mess him. Yeah, can't disagree again, I'm afraid. I'm not looking forward to this either. Andy Robertson. Can I just say, before we do the bad stuff, that turn on the edge of the box, the shot was grim, but the turn was... I didn't think it was Robbo. I thought it was Jota for a second. I didn't believe it was Robbo. Yeah, I don't think he's ever been in your messing either, Michaela. I honestly don't. I don't think... certainly not as a collective. But we might be on for a new record of your messings today, so let's all stick around and find out. Robbo was and has been total shite. Now, I thought he turned the corner, and I'm not afraid to say it. I said it a lot pre-match, and I'll stand there and own it a little bit. I thought he looked much more like his usual self recently. So the timing and disappointment of watching just how poor, certainly his first half performance was so disappointing. Obviously, he comes off late on. He's replaced by Chiesa as that Hail Mary substitution. Let's just fucking see what this looks like. Basically with no formation, whatever. His legs have got... yeah, his legs might... I'm not as convinced by everybody else about the legs thing. I just think sometimes his decision-making has gone a little bit, and that was never more true than that 10-second spell whereby he plays a pass across his box, which I've said a minute ago. I got taught as a 9-year-old kid, you don't do that. And how he's doing it, I'll never know. Like, he's got stuff in his locker in terms of his passing range is good. It's not quite Trent on the other side. But to play that across is just inexcusable. And it's poorly executed, obviously. Then he gets back in, and his header is poorly executed. And then he tries to get back in and save the day, and it comes off him and goes in. It's an absolute car. And I love Robbo. I love him. But shit me. Sadly, you're messing. Yeah, national captain playing like an 8-year-old. Yeah, okay. I'm Robert's business. He's been bad this year. Yeah, he's not had a good season. No, I thought he turned the corner. Honestly, I thought recently, and I know the 2 games before the break, nobody was good at all, but I felt like Robertson was getting back to something like his level. And the fact that Slot's swap changing him and Tsimikas suggested to me that Slot felt the same. But today was grim. Really, really grim. Another one in your messing. Another one in your messing. Let's move on to Ryan Gravenberch, shall we? I had a mini chat about Gravenberch a minute ago, so I'll let you guys talk on this one and sort of guide me where you think he should go. He's not quite been good second half, Liam Carr. I just don't... Listen, his first half of the season was so unexpectedly exceptional, let's put it like that. He was the best midfielder in the league for me for 4 months there. I thought he was sublime, and not many could really hold a candle to him. But for whatever reason, whether it be people have worked him out, whether it be tiredness, whether it be Liverpool generally not quite being the same team, I'm not sure. But he hasn't reached those heights again. Not on a consistent basis, I know it is. Definitely been moments, there's been games whereby he's been better. But yeah, for whatever reason, we're not seeing the same version of Ryan Gravenberch anymore. And if it's a case of that was just a flash in the pan, you're never going to see it again, then we might have to think about that in the summer and go and sign something to be that, because that was what we need. We need that Ryan Gravenberch week in, week out. Or whether it was just a sheer amount of football thing and we just need somebody to come in and take some of the load off him. Because Wataru Endo, we all love Wataru Endo, clearly Slot doesn't think he's capable of taking a load off him. And that's fine. That's fine. They're different players. They play it in a different way, completely different profiles. But that needs addressing in the summer for me, because there's something missing in Gravenberch's performances recently, and it needs addressing. Absolutely. Whichever way you want to do it. Andre says, straddle sound and you're messing. Grav has run out of energy playing game after game after game, and his national team messing him. But that's it. He had that complete break during the international break. And even then, off the back of that, like, is he that done in that even like a 2-week off period means he can't get back up to speed again? I don't think he was that bad today, don't get me wrong. But it's still not the Gravenberch at the start of the season, is he? At all. At all. Let's do Alexis Mac Allister. Exceptional goal. Like, again, let's start on a positive and go from there. He was, what a hit. I like Pacetic, by the way, but I'm going to address that really quick while it's on the screen. I've said that for a while. I think he could be somebody who could come in and be an option, with maybe Endo sticking around, and McConnell even could be an option to take some of the minutes off Gravenberch. But then Pacetic on the bench today for Las Palmas, I don't think he got on. Las Palmas in a relegation battle in the Liga, they got beat 3-1 by Valladolid. I know that's random information to give you, but it's true. Like, are we really thinking, and I love him, I think he's a talented kid, are we really considering Pacetic being an option for us when he can't get a game for them? I don't know. Conversation for a different day. Alexis Mac Allister, again, brilliant goal. Right out of the top drawer. Nice habit of scoring against them. But outside of that, same as Kelleher, says Just Marty. High sound. Yeah, okay, I'm glad about this. And that's not just because I adore Alexis Mac Allister, which I do, but I thought he was okay. Listen, they all gave the ball away. The first half was littered with examples of people randomly gifting possession back to them. So Szoboszlai was guilty of it, Mac Allister was guilty of it. Almost every single one of them. Gravenberch did it once or twice as well. Almost every one of them was guilty of it. But yeah, I don't think it was quite as bad as some of his teammates. And that's not particularly high praise indeed. Dom Szoboszlai. And I've got a horrible feeling about Dom Szoboszlai. Not that I care, but I've got a horrible feeling about Dom Szoboszlai and what you guys are going to be saying about it. So I'll leave it up to you. Passion of John kicks us off with your messing. You're messing. Macca above Jones, says Aidan. Really, yeah? Do you want him up a touch? About there? Okay, I'm fine with that. You're messing for Dom. I don't know. Yeah. Hard to disagree. And I said that a moment ago, he gave the ball away far too cheaply sometimes. And there's just, I don't know, for somebody who's played the 10 all season long, I know he has chipped in with goals and a few assists along the way. And maybe it's what Slot wants from his 10, but he just doesn't play it like you'd expect the 10 to play it. And some games need his, effervescent energy and running. But when they don't, and it's not required, I do struggle with Szoboszlai's performances sometimes, because when you want somebody, the game against Fulham at home, actually, when we were down to 10, because Robbo's not having a good time against Fulham, but because he got sent off, we needed essentially to try and get back up to 11 without it being physically possible to do so. Szoboszlai was the difference in that. Every blade of grass, never stops running, never say die, boss. But when you don't need that, you just need a bit more guile, a bit more intelligence, and just some more invention on the ball. I'm finding it hard to see it from Dom more often than not, I'll be honest. And then Harvey Elliott comes on and shows us all that. Put him under Ibu. Jesus Christ. He's not a playmaker. No, he's not a playmaker. That's kind of the point I'm driving at. And if you're going to play in that position, you kind of need that spiritual black that I mentioned. So not even on the board. We need more from him. Yeah, that's kind of Sobo, you're messing, gave the ball away and ran around. Yeah, he'll always run. We can't question his work rate, and I've said it dozens, but like we all adore Dirk Kuyt, etc. for his work rate. But sometimes, again, when that's not what the MO is, and that's not what your main thing you need is, I struggle to see what he's bringing to the party, really. You're messing. Okay. Let's do, there we go, front line. Mo Salah first, eh? Let's do Mo Salah. What do we think of Mo Salah? Freshness is extremely needed, yeah, I agree. If Slot rotated more, we would have been champs already. Yeah, quite possibly. And listen, I'm not going to shoot me on horn, let's move on. Salah messing, Salah low sound, Mo low sound. You're messing, anything more than that is a crime after today. Mo messing, you're messing. Should have been taken off for Chiesa. Listen, I'm not going to go anything above you messing for Mo Salah after that. And I tend to agree with this as well. Well, I mean, that last bit is not what I agree with, by the way. I'm sorry, is what I believe. Salah low, you're messing. On the floor, you're messing. Mo was awful, awful, awful. Yeah, they did a bit of a job on him, didn't they? Let's have it right. He never really got into the game at all. I think his second touch in the box came with that half volley that was woefully, woefully high over the bar. Didn't even threaten to go in for a single second. Salah Long said, I'm terrible off with nothing. Matt Rigby says, you're messing. Mo messing for first half, sound for second half. Yeah, I'm struggling to get him into a sound. Liverpool were generally better in second half, which, Mo, might have been part of. But I thought his deliveries into the box were poor. The one thing he did do, he slipped Jota in, but I can't base even a slightly positive ranking on one pass that didn't even materialise into an assist, which albeit wasn't his fault, but still, the facts remain. Fulham were miles better than us today. Miles better than us. And not only were they better than us, they made far less mistakes than us. Because those mistakes were unforced errors, weren't they? To use a tennis term. Like, nobody was really pressuring Ibu Konate when he decided to mad turn this box. The Robertson switch was on. He just executed it horrendously well. And I don't love the switch, by the way. I've already said, to try and play that pass with the traffic that was there is a bit fucking stupid to me. As proven. Diogo Jota. What do we think of Diogo Jota? It misses that chance, one-on-one with Bernd Leno, which might have changed the direction of travel of the game. Yeah, I think this was an okay Jota performance. He frustrated me once or twice in the first half when his touch was a little bit off. Yeah, not pretty. Shite, you're messing, low sound. Jota, low sound. Jota, you're messing, says Holly Bobs. Liam Daly says sound. Basically, Vader says shite, you're messing. You've been banging at stop playing into the lone striker drum for a while. What do you want, like big man, little man? I don't know what you're asking for, really. Do tell us. Sound, low sound. Jota sounds, low sound, not as bad as Salah. No, I think he comes above Salah. I think Salah was probably the worst of the three up there today, to be honest, which is not something I say lightly. High messing, says Alan Gregg. Herman says low sound. Jota, you're messing. I think we're in around the straddling zone here for Diogo. Something like that. They're above Salah, quite literally as well. That'll do for me. Cody Gakpo. Back in the starting 11. I don't think he took that chance necessarily, ran with it. I thought he was okay. I think actually the two left wingers on show today were probably the most threatening that we had. I thought once or twice he created decent space inside the box, and then probably went once too many times. I think there was definitely an instance in the first half where it looked like he created an opportunity to either shot or cross, and then he tried to do them again and got the ball taken off him because of that. Forgot Gakpo was on. Oh, we're not liking Cody. Cody messing. Low sounds as John Lee David Blackshaw. Low sound hasn't been the same. No, he's not looked anything like as sharp as he did pre-injury, definitely. But again, in a very, very, very underwhelming performance from everyone today. I thought he'd probably just the standout. But again, it's not saying a lot. Low sound. Straddle, you're messing. Low sound. Lots of low sounds coming in. On the border again. Yeah, okay. I think we're just about on the border. In the round of Diogo Jota reaches, which is fine. Let's do some subs. Let's finish on a mini high, shall we? Was that it? No, Darwin, of course. And Connor. There you are, my mate. Let's do it. Let's do... Who have I got first? Okay, let's do Darwin Núñez first. Nearly, like with the final action of the game, nearly. I thought we had another Darwin Núñez moment there. Nearly got his head on the end of that, didn't he? I haven't watched it back, so I don't know whether the pass was just away from him, he didn't get up high enough, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, just for a split second, I thought he was getting the end of that cross, but it wasn't to be. And people are not pleased. Núñez, you're messing, low sound, messing sound, poor again in general play, low sound. Yeah, he wasn't necessarily brought, and I know this is sound like I'm making excuses for him, I'm not, because again, the performance was so bad, it doesn't warrant it. But other than him being offside once or twice in general play, which frustrated the life out of us all, I don't think he was brought on to, like, I don't know, facilitate and add to an overall performance. He was brought on for a moment, really, wasn't he? Which again, nearly came late on, but wasn't quite his day. You're messing, not switched on. Okay, yeah, people are fuming. Let's just do messing. Let's do Chiesa. Let's do Federico Chiesa. Again, I said it before, I think when he's on the pitch, things seem to happen, and they tend to be quite positive. He had one though, which the shot I think he should do better with personally. He could either go left-footed or he has to strike it better right-footed. He goes with the outside of his right boot. It's a little bit tame because that's half a chance for me. And then there's one about a minute later. He's on the edge of the box and he tries to set it for himself and he just gets his touch wrong and it bounces off into the path of the defender. Again, a couple way, I think, but then when you sort of caveat all that, there's a very, very obvious explanation, and it's the fact that he's just not played anywhere near enough football to be as sharp as you'd like him to be. So, yeah, possibly that. A lot of people saying sound for Chiesa, a lot of people saying sound for Chiesa, actually. And I'm inclined to agree. Did a lot more than Salah. Okay, people are giving Chiesa some flowers here. And does more of a game. Yeah, I think a lot of these next players we're about to touch upon will fall into that bracket of, you know, actually having a positive impact on what was a otherwise pretty dismal performance. Let's do Harvey Elliott next, shall we? Hits the bar. You know what? I know in the grand scheme of things it doesn't really matter because we lose the game and it would have just been a goal to potentially equalise. But I'd have loved nothing more than Harvey Elliott to score that goal at Fulham because they still boo him. And again, it doesn't matter who's asked. I'm sure he doesn't give a shit. But honestly, it would have been joyous to watch. Low boss. Shit me. I did not expect that. Elliott sounds. Chiesa's footy IQ is, I mean, again, yeah. Gives Chiesa a chance. Yeah, okay, yeah. Let's move on to Harvey. Harvey at high sound as well. I can't believe I've seen low boss. That's I did not expect any boss whatsoever today. High sound. Wild shot, nothing more than sound. High sound. I'm just about gonna this sort of edge with the high sounds, I think. Let's see what we've got so far. I think he was probably the pick of what we've got on the board up until this point, I want to say. High sound bordering on boss. Okay, yeah, we really are. Really are having it. I just think he offered more than anyone that had been on up until that point, really. So yeah, I'm comfortable with that. Let's do Conor Bradley. We really are ending on a high here. Connor, just nice to see somebody at right back who is used to playing the role, really. And I think he did it really effectively. Obviously, he provides the assist, popping up in a 10 position. He's got a nice knack of doing that and wandering to midfield. I think he can play. He does it in a different way than what you'd expect Trent to do. Because obviously Trent's, his cheat code is his passing ability. Conor Bradley's isn't that. It's his energy and it's his timing of when to go in there seems to be really, really smart as well. He seems to pick up the pockets of space as and when it's required. I've known him do that once or twice now. And today was definitely that. And the ball to Diaz too allows Diaz to finish. So, when we've been crying out for a right back, just to be a right back, it was a very, very timely return from Conor Bradley. And hopefully he's ready for 60 to the whole 90 next week, because we've missed him. We've missed him badly. High sound, if not boss. Bradley with high sound, glad he's on the mend. Yeah, okay, I think we're all having Connor, which again I'm very pleased about. I thought it was really, really, really positive from the bench today. There weren't loads of positives to take from today, but Connor was definitely one of them. And I think the another one, and probably the final one, was Luis Diaz. What do we make of Luis? Obviously gets the goal. And I think even prior to the goal, looked like he might be the main outlet and the main threat for us. If we were going to get back into the game, I felt a lot of it was going to be Luis Diaz-led. And it very, very nearly was. And you guys look like you agree. Alongside Elliot, low boss, Diaz sound, high sound for Diaz, low boss, Diaz sound. Yeah, I don't disagree with this comment, by the way, which is saying something wild, isn't it? We've got to win the Premier League, and yet still, look at us with all our first world problems. High sound, Diaz sound. Yeah, honestly, I thought he was really direct. A lot of the things I'm quite critical of Diaz for, in terms of he does frustrate the life out of me sometimes because he's got so much ability and he can make defenders look so stupid. I don't think he does it often enough. But honestly, I thought today, in a circumstance and situation which required nothing more than we're chasing the game, let's go and do something about it, he was the actual perfect addition to bring on and the added impetus that we required. So actually, whilst I think Slot made a mistake not starting him off the back of midweek, it nearly paid dividends, albeit who knows how the game would have panned out had he been on from the start. I've got to get a fucking man the match card as well. God almighty. Arne Slot. Speaking of Arne Slot, this might be true as well, Paul City Rocker, to be honest. Yeah, okay. Let's do Arne Slot. I'm intrigued. How much blame do we put at his door for this? That's what I want to know. Team selection. No subs at half-time after possibly the worst first half of the season so far. I think maybe we conceded 3, so that's new. So yeah, no changes at half-time. Makes the changes eventually and we do improve, so good. Lose the game. They're sort of our main talking points around Arne. And what do we rank him as after all that? Slot needs to allow Diaz to play more like he does for Colombia. The Colombian version of Diaz definitely is more impactful than Liverpool one, I think it's fair to say. Scored twice in international break recently. Yeah. Slot you're messing, needs to rotate more. A lot of the grievance towards Arne Slot has been sort of season-long, if you like. Now, we're not just criticising for the sake of criticising because, again, first world problems, look at all our problems. Top of the league, 11 points clear, 8 games to go. Likely going to win the Premier League. We're very, very appreciative of that position. But I think a lot of people now, and the Carabao Cup final, the Champions League game, sorry to take us back to that, are seeing the effects and the impact of Slot's reluctance to rotate a lot. And I think a lot of people have generated a bit of uncertainty around his methods because of that as well. And I think we're seeing that again today because, again, it wasn't a brilliant performance, far from it. And people are putting that down to the fact that we've barely rotated, which might be true. Might well be true. Exactly that, really. Can't blame Slot for that. And that's what, as I was wrapping up what I was saying then, I was wondering, does lack of rotation, I guess psychologically and mentally, a bit of tiredness, a bit of fatigue also plays a part, but does him not swapping and changing in midfield mean that Andy Robertson does what he did? I'm not quite sure. Does it mean that Van Dijk isn't strong enough in his situation? I'm not quite sure either. But yeah, Arne Slot. Anyway, I think the general consensus is pretty fucking negative, to be honest. I think it's in around that, so I'm going to put him there. And I've got the joyous job now of wrapping up the show with a Man of the Match award. I'm not looking forward to it. Feel free to tell me just to go home and not do this bit, by the way. I would be much, much appreciative of that. I'll wait and see what you want to do as the comments load in the chat. They're taking a sweet time. Here we go. Bradley should be a little bit higher, says Liam Kopp. Slot stubborn, not a bad thing, but today was shocking. Yeah, it certainly was. Slot has to be sound, does he? Diaz, man of the match, no one deserved it on the pitch. Where's Conor Bradley? There he is. I'm not against putting him a little bit higher, as it's been requested. Let's see. Curtis, I don't believe you. Diaz, somebody said skip. I had one skip. Most people have gone with actual suggestions, though, so I'll do it. Lots of Diaz's, lots of Conor Bradleys. Simicast he is fit and available, yeah. I know, I kind of agree. But, you know, I'm here now, I'm holding it, so let's just do it. Yeah, that is, you for watching and me for doing it. I mean, I know I'm contractually obliged, but still, the point remains, my car's only 30 yards away. Let's do Man of the Match. I think it might have to be Luis Diaz. I think, listen, we're right, it's Diaz or Bradley. There's no one else is even in contention for me. But I think it might just be Diaz. Give no man the match. Bradley, definitely. Me for not picking anything. I think I'm going to go with Diaz, you know. I mean, they're pretty much on par in terms of where I actually rank them. But I think it's just about Lucho. I do. I mean, listen, look at the state of it. The only thing properly in boss is the man of the match card, and that's because we've got no more space for it, which kind of tells you all you need to know about what we've just witnessed. Because it wasn't very good, but thankfully it wasn't very us, and doubly thankfully, it might not matter. Hopefully. That's that. Player ranking's done. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for making this show as bearable as possible. Because, listen, nobody likes losing. Nobody likes Liverpool losing. But it's pretty grim when you've got to come on and talk about it for about an hour. But you've done it. I've done it. We've done it together. And thanks for helping. Sounds, that's that. We are back tomorrow afternoon with a podcast to talk about it all again. Bet you can't wait. And then obviously we're back next week for some more watch-along stuff. Well, we'll do it all again from start to finish. I look forward to it immensely. Enjoy your week. Try to enjoy your week. Listen, it was shit. It was really shit. But when you look at the league table, we're going to be all right, okay? We're going to be all right. We just need to be better and win more games of football between now and the end of the season. And then we can all celebrate together at the end of May. Let's do that, shall we? Honestly, have a boss week. And honestly, thank you very much for getting involved. It's much appreciated. Take care. Look after yourselves. Goodbye.